In the past 10 years, I have been negotiating as a purchasing professional. I love my job, and I'm good at my job, but I'm really bad at negotiating for myself. Growing up as a second-generation immigrant in a small coastal city in China, blending in became a common theme. I wanted to be like, always avoided conflicts and confrontations, and rarely spoke up when I got upset. My parents doesn't have a high expectation of me become outstanding at school or work, but expected that I could be a good mom and a good wife and have a successful marriage. So that's why I tried to do. After 5 years long-distance relationship with my boyfriend, I decided to marry him, quit my job, and came to US in 2009. So it was a difficult time for me. As an English undergrad in China, I thought I can adjust myself quickly in the environment, but I was wrong. I could not work due to my spouse visa. I didn't know how to drive, how to order Starbucks, how to do small talks, or what media means at a steakhouse. and I didn't have any friends. And the worst part is that my husband and I started to fight a lot after a few months. And sometimes we went without talking to each other for a whole night. And I feel like I had no one to talk to and no place to go. It was at that point I feel like, well, I was unhappy. And being a housewife was not for me. So I decided to go to Penn State for my MBA, hoping to find myself a job. And I was lucky to get a few friends in State College during my 2 years, and then found an internship in Philadelphia that turned into a full-time offer. However, my position was eliminated after a short 4 months. I could not help crying and asking why me. The feeling of I was just not good enough set in. Later, I relocated from Philadelphia to Indiana for my husband's career. And I finally got a job in Columbus, Indiana in 2014, 5 years after I came to US. But I took that job with 25% salary cut with no negotiation. And I even feel lucky that I got a job and get my work visa. What did I tell you before? Yes, I'm pretty bad at negotiating for myself. Life started to get better. I was able to get some confidence through job, and at last feel worthy. In 2016, my son, Andrew, was born. Andrew is my biggest blessing, but introduced a whole different level of navigation into my world. My breastfeeding journey wasn't going well. I had complications that turned into a breast surgery because nothing I tried was working. After the surgery, I went back to work and continued to pump at the company storage room during lunchtime. But my supply was low, and I feel so tired. I hadn't negotiated for myself at all through this process neither. Finally, my mom came from China to help, and she convinced me to stop pumping and start taking care of myself. And thanks to my mom and my in-law, who came to US every 6 months to help take care of my son, I can start focus back on my career and then got a few promotions and start to manage a team. So I start to read books about psychologies and behaviors just for parenting and leadership purpose. And at that point, I learned an important concept, unconditional love. And I realized that, well, it was just not applied to parenting. I learned that I must love myself unconditionally before anything else. Thank you. I grew up feeling people like me more because I behave, I follow rules, I had a good grades, I went to great schools, and I barely argue or said no. And I was raised in a culture that woman supposed to be a good mom first, and then a good wife, and then a good daughter. So when my son was born, I did have a high expectation of him and myself. I didn't know why, but there was a popular belief that Chinese kids are smart and good at math and always go to advanced class. But in reality, my son doesn't like math. He's not good at math and doesn't go to advanced class. So I doubted myself at some point. Was there something wrong with my parenting? Is it because I didn't breastfeed him until he was 1? I know it's silly. So I started to practicing unconditional love on both him and myself. I decided to focus more on my personal growth and leave Andrew alone. So I took piano class 2 years ago, which I always loved, but my family could not afford it when I was young, and I'm still taking the class every week. And I work out regularly and cook most of the time at home. And I'm now in the process of becoming a certified nutrition coach. And I also do community work and serve as a board member for 2 local nonprofit AAPI organizations. And my self-awareness, worthiness has increased significantly. And I realized that I deserve all the good things happen to me, including standing here tonight. And I'm convinced that I'm a good mom, regardless what other people think or how good or bad my son is at math. And I will continue to give unconditional love to Andrew, whether he grows up to be a scientist, a zoologist, a soccer player, a comic book writer, or a Batman. And now my only expectation of him is that I hope that he can learn the ability of love himself, which I feel is more important than others. And from time to time, I will still ask the why me question, but I always tell myself I cannot be somebody else, but I can always be a better me. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can fly, then run. If you can run, then walk. If you can walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving. So when I look back, I'm so proud of myself, making a good progress of my career, but more importantly, becoming stronger by an authentic myself. And I will be unstoppable and continue to love myself. And I hope you all do. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. Where are your people at? You've got lots of friends here tonight. Hi, thank you for being here.
And then the nonprofit organization I'm working on.
Thank you for being here. Aren't we so proud of her? Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I have asked Eliza Kingsford to come up on stage as we talk to Felicia tonight because when Felicia had this kind of aha moment about making this shift to love herself more, it was after a session that Eliza had done where Eliza teaches all of us about how our nervous system works, how our brain and our bodies are connected, because we want to know the science of thriving. And so it hit me as we were planning this that it doesn't matter what country, what culture you come from, if you know the science of your decision making and what you need in your life, that's what matters, and that's what Felicia is doing, and we're so proud of you. Thank you for being here. All right.